Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Savage Workshop. Today we're going to be finishing off this airplane. My brother gave this to me for Christmas. It is a scratch build plane designed or built from the plans provided by Flight Test. This is the Mighty Mini Scout. So everything's already put together. All the control rods and control horns are attached to where they need to go. Only thing I need to do now is get the power pod hooked up, make sure it balances properly, and get her in the air. So we're going to try and get that taken care of today. I'm glad you guys could join me. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so we're going to get started. First thing, so I got my servos positioned in there. You can see them just inside that port. But we've got a whole lot of excess on these control wires. So we're going to get those trimmed up. I don't want to take too much off of them, but just enough so that they are out of the way. So let's see here. See if we can do this so that you guys can see what's going on. Dang, these are stiff. There we go. Always be careful when you're cutting with dikes. The part that you cut off likes to fly. Alright, so that's short enough. Now we're going to get this other wire. No, that's going to have to be adjusted. So right now, if you look at this, my elevator, my servo's roughly in the neutral position and my elevator's not in the right spot. So we're gonna adjust that a little bit right now. We'll actually pull out the servo centering tool here in a minute and get everything lined up correctly. But we'll just do a rough centering so I get a better cut. There we go, that looks good. Alright. Now to get in there again, let's move our rudder out of the way. The heck? Okay, that's as far as the rudder goes. Now I gotta be careful not to cut my servo extension wires as I do this. There we go. Maybe? Nope. Nope, not working. There we go. Got it. Alright, those are both still long enough that we can have plenty of play in them, but they're no longer going to cause us issues. So let's get our servo centering tool. This is it right here. I picked this up from Flight Test. It's a good way to make sure your servos are nice and centered. We're going to set it to the neutral setting so it just stays centered. This is a little adapter that I made so that I can power it. I found it easier than trying to hook a battery to it. So we got power to it. Now let's get our servos connected. There's one. And now the other. There we go. Okay, so we're going to turn these over. Oh, looks like we're going to need to put some more glue on that. Get that servo, we're going to give a break. Alright, so leveling out my elevator here, we're just going to take a ruler and hold it flat against it here. And then tighten down my linkage stopper. Looks good. Go ahead and unplug that. And then if you look in here, the servo for my rudder came unglued, so I'm going to get my hot glue gun going and we'll get that reconnected here. So hang on just a minute. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've pulled out this servo because I want to clean up the back of it, get all the hot glue off of it so that when we put more hot glue on, it has a nice clean surface to work on. So I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and very carefully carving, basically just carving off the hot glue that I had on there previously. Careful not to cut yourself. For any kids watching this, be sure to, any sharp objects or anything, handle with adult supervision. Definitely don't want to cut yourself because X-Acto knives will cut through you pretty quick. Alright, got that clean enough. Just gonna scuff this surface a little bit. Give the glue something to grab onto. Alright. And then we're gonna see if we're gonna get the servo back onto that wire so that we can reconnect it. This is gonna be fun. Oh, good thing the glue's ready. You know, we're going to glue the servo in place before we slide it onto the wire. Give ourselves a little bit more space to work with. Ooh, hello. So just get a nice coat of glue on the side of your servo. Clean up all the gunk. That's warm. Hold that on there, make sure it sticks real nice. Alright, after a bit of finagling, we finally got that wire, or that control wire, through our linkage stopper. You can see it just right there. Hey. So let's get the locking screw back in. And then we'll get that servo recentered. There we go. Actually, keep it a little loose. Hook up our tester. Okay, neutral. And then again, I'm just going to take my ruler and hold it flat against the rudder and the stabilizer. Then just to keep this from twitching, I'm going to unplug that and crank her down. Alright, that is now centered and locked in. That one should now be centered and locked in. Time to get our power pod put in place. Alright, now let's get the glue gun out of the way. Don't need power to this anymore. Alright, so all the official tutorials and videos and stuff from this can be found on the Flight Test site, where they have amazing information on these builds and everything, articles of other people's jobs. So that's where you'll be able to find the plans for the FT Mighty Mini Scout. This is the power pod that goes in it. This is the mini power pod. I don't know where my locking rods went for that. Found them. Alright. So let's see here. We got to feed our servo wires through here so they come out the front and we can hook that up to our receiver. So we're just going to drop those in. Make sure they don't snag on anything here. And there we go. Clear. And get the other one. Feed that through. Good thing I got my tweezers. And we're through. Alright, so we now have both of those. We're going to hook them up to our receiver. This is just a little hobbyking receiver I've had for a little while. Got handed down to me when I got started in the hobby. So first things first, we got to figure out which one is our elevator. That is this one, which is connected to this servo wire. Alright. Plug this into our elevator slot, making sure all wires are pointed in the right direction. Alright, now since this is a 3-channel plane rather than a 4-channel with ailerons, all we have is a rudder and our elevator. We're going to plug our rudder control into our aileron plug. Let's see here, making sure servo wires or signal wires on the bottom. There we go. That way we get all of our directional controls on our left thumb, or excuse me, our right thumb. So that'll go there. And then we need to hook in our power pod. This will go into the throttle connection. And then let's pull out our controller. We're going to make sure, just to be safe, that everything's cooperating. So turn it on, make sure we're set to the right model. And then we power her up. Alright. Ooh, we can see if everything's going the right direction. So if we pull back on our stick, rudder goes up. Push down, rudder goes down. And then we need to go left, which it does, and go right, which it does. Awesome! We have all proper controls. Sweet. And then we're going to double check and make sure our motor's spinning the right way. So we're just going to crank it up a couple notches. And it is spinning to my right. Yeah, so right now we're spinning this direction. Pretty sure that's the direction I want to go. Let's see, I'm using these are Gem Fan props. They're 6045s. So we put those on, that'll fit. So if we're spinning, sometimes figuring this out is a little rough on me. So we're not going to actually put this on because I don't want to actually hurt myself. So if we're spinning clockwise, that means we're pushing. Okay, so yeah, everything's going the right way. We will have to figure out the proper fitting for that. Woo. All right, so that is good. Let's get our power pod in place. Turn off your controller. Don't want to run out of batteries. I did that. My wife thought there was a bomb in the basement. Watch out, Sparky. You gotta go lay down. Sparky, go lay down. Where's your bone, dude? Where's your bone? Get your bone. Go get it. Go get it. Weird dog. Alright. So we're going to get our power pod in place. We want to make sure everything stays out of the way of each other. There's a nice little spot I can kind of wedge this into. Alright. I'm going to fold up our ESC inside here, making sure these are all hanging out nicely. And then just slide that into place. Line up the holes here. Alright, come on. There we go. There's one way. This is always the fun part, trying to get these rods through. It's always a game of where's the hole. Because honestly, right now, I have no idea. Here, we're going to try this. We're going to gently feed in a pointed skewer in attempts to push anything out of the way. Then we'll just kind of push it out with the one that we're going to use to guide everything, or to lock it in. Maybe. Maybe not. That's not even pointed in the right direction. There we go. Found it. Okay, we're good. Got our first skewer in there. Let's get the next one in. There we go. Alright, again, we're going to do our best to try and push this back out and feed everything through nicely. There we go. Alright, power pod is now successfully installed. That'll hold nicely. Alright, let's see what our center of gravity looks like. A little back balance. So we're going to, thankfully this will finish balancing it out once I find where I hid all of my Velcro. Alright, so we need a bit of the soft edged Velcro. And we're going to apply this to the underside of the power pod, which is where this will stick to. And we want to give ourselves plenty of Velcro so that we can kind of customize where it sits and really get our balance correct on this. So get one long enough to cover your entire pod. Make sure you're not hitting the motor with it. Do not want this sticking to your motor. There we go. And just for funsies, we're going to set that in there. And then our balance, check our balance. Ooh, that's nose heavy. We're still a little nose heavy, so I'm going to try and get it a little farther back. You know, I can put some weight in there. Alright, but that is all set up, so we're going to plug in, going to power on our transmitter, and we're going to plug in. And then carefully feed our, hang on, and we're going to carefully feed our wires here into the fuselage, careful not to disturb our servos. We don't want anything in their way so that they bind up. Alright, and then again we'll just see what our balance looks like. You know what, that's actually not, it's actually really good. Alright, so with that information, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little highlighter and I'm going to mark on the inside of the fuselage the line that I need my battery to be behind so that it balances out the way I want. Alright, and then we have power, so let's double check our controls. Take this time and we're going to check our trims here. Elevator needs to come down a little. Not that far. Alright, about there, it looks good. So, and then we'll play with the trims once we get it out in the air, just to make sure everything's correct. Let's take a look at it. Alright, that looks good. Our motor's spinning nicely. Alright. I'm going to unplug here for a minute so I can get the prop put in. Alright, so when you buy props, they come with these little, they usually come in a pack of 2, but they'll also come with these rings that you can use to fit them to the size of the rod on your motor. So we're gonna play with those and find the right one. Nope. Nope. They two the same? They are. So we just need one that fits on there. Keeps things from spinning loosely. Because right now we're super, super loose. No, we're going to try this one. Just going to take my scissors and, no. Use our knife and clean up this edge. Again, careful, do not cut yourself. That's not working. Alright. That little bugger slips inside there. Which goes over there. That's still... Oh, you're fine, Sparky. That's not even fitting. Interesting. Now we're going to see what this will do. The real purpose for those things is just to keep your Make sure your prop is centered over that rod, so you spin proper, so it stays balanced. All right. And we're going to very, very carefully connect this up, make sure our throttle's all the way down. Power her up. And then I'm just going to hang on to the back here, and we're going to make sure that it tries to run away from me. And that it is, and it seems to be nicely balanced. I think we're in business. Come on. These little JST plugs are stiff. Well, that's all for now, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Savage Workshop. We're going to get this thing up in the air. I'm going to have my buddy Steve the Wiz help me get that recorded so we can share that with you guys. Looking forward to it. We'll see you guys out there in the air.